You were maybe 8 years old. Or 12. Or 32. But there was a night, a specific night, when you heard your mother's voice from another room, and it didn't sound like her. It was muffled, maybe by a door, maybe by a hand over her mouth. And you stopped what you were doing. You didn't move. You just listened. You never asked her about it. You told yourself it was nothing. But something in you knew. Something in you knew she was carrying a weight she didn't want you to see. And the way she looked at you the next morning, the way she held you just a second longer, the way she said your name with a tenderness that almost hurt, you felt it. You just didn't have words for it. Years have passed. You've built a life, made choices, carried your own burdens. But that moment, that muffled sound of your mother's voice behind a closed door, has never fully left you. It's a quiet thread running through everything. And tonight, my child, I am going to pull that thread. You have felt it, haven't you? That strange sensation that you were meant for something you can't quite name. That there is a plot twist you haven't been told. That the story of your life has a chapter that was written before you were born, and you have been living in the middle of it, not knowing how it started or how it ends. You have walked through rooms full of people and felt completely alone. You have looked at your own reflection and wondered if anyone truly sees who you are. You have repeated the same prayers, and the silence on the other end felt heavier than any answer ever could. And here is the truth you have never dared to say out loud. You have wondered if you were a mistake. Not in a dramatic way. Not in a way that would make you say it to anyone. But in the quiet hours, when the house is dark and the clock ticks and your thoughts are the only sound, you have wondered if God's plan for you got lost in the mail. You have wondered if the blessing that was meant for someone else landed on your life by accident. You have wondered if your mother, in a moment of exhaustion or fear or loneliness, looked at you and felt something other than love. And that question has lived inside you like a splinter that never fully came out. I want you to know exactly what I saw on that night you remember. You were asleep. Or at least, you were pretending to be. And your mother, she was not in the kitchen making a cup of tea. She was not folding laundry. She was on her knees. Not on a cushion. Not on a rug. On the hard floor. And she was not praying for what she wanted. She was praying for what she feared. She was saying words she had never said to anyone, not even to your father. She was confessing a doubt that had haunted her since the day you were born. She looked at you, at the shape of you under the covers, and she said to me, I don't know if I am enough for this child. I don't know if I have what it takes. I am afraid I will fail them. And then she said something she has never repeated to another human being. She said, but you chose me. So I will trust you. That was the secret. It was not a thing she did. It was a thing she did not know. She did not know that I was answering her prayer even as she was praying it. She did not know that the very child she feared she would fail was the child I had prepared her for since before the foundation of the world. She did not know that her trembling faith was the exact soil in which I was planting the seed of your destiny. And you have been living your whole life, trying to earn a place you already have. The silent struggle you have carried a quiet shame that you have never named. It is the feeling that you are too much or not enough. Too loud, too quiet, too ambitious, too lazy, too sensitive, too cold. You have tried to shrink yourself to fit into rooms you were never meant to stay in. You have tried to inflate yourself to impress people who were never meant to be your audience. And underneath all of it, there has been a current of exhaustion. Do you remember the night you sat in your car in the driveway for 20 minutes before going inside? You just sat there. The engine was off. The house was lit up. You could see your family moving around inside. And instead of relief, you felt dread. Not because you don't love them. You do. But because you were so tired of pretending to be fine. You were so tired of being the one who holds everything together. You were so tired of carrying a weight you never asked for. You have prayed for a breakthrough. You have begged for a change. You have fasted. You have gone to church. You have read the scripture. And yet, the check engine light of your soul has stayed on. The same financial pressure. The same marriage tension. The same loneliness in a crowded room. The same unanswered question. And I have seen every single one of your tears. I have seen the one you cried in the shower where no one could hear. I have seen the one that escaped during worship when the lights were dim and the music was loud enough to cover it. I have seen the one you wiped away quickly during a work meeting, blaming it on allergies. I have seen the one you cried into your pillow at 2 in the morning when you were too tired to pray and too honest to pretend. You have asked me, why haven't you answered? And I have answered. Not in the way you expected. But in the way that matters. You have looked for me in the loud moments, in the big miracles, in the sudden reversals. And I have been present in the quiet ones, in the ordinary hours, in the space between your breaths. I have been the stillness you felt when you didn't know what else to do. I have been the peace that came over you when everything around you was falling apart. I have been the voice that said, stay. Just a little longer. It is not over. My child, you have been fighting a battle that was already won. The wrong paths and why they failed, and because the waiting was so long, because the silence felt so heavy, you started looking other places. I understand. I do not condemn you. I understand the desperation that pushes you to open an app that tells you your future. I understand the exhaustion that makes you think luck or chance or coincidence has more power than I do. I understand the fear that drives you to chase a strategy, a system, a formula, because trusting me feels too risky. You have tried to manifest your own breakthrough. You have spoken words into the air, hoping the universe would catch them. You have made bargains with God that you never kept. You have looked for signs in numbers, in birds, in the way the wind blew. You have leaned on the advice of people who do not know me. You have read books that promised you a better life and then left you emptier than before. Let me tell you why those paths failed. They failed not because you are weak. They failed because they are small. They are small answers to questions that are too large for them. They are temporary fixes for eternal longings. They are bandages on a wound that needs the touch of the healer. You were not created to be satisfied by a strategy. You were created to be satisfied by me. There was a man named Jacob. He was a schemer. He was a bargainer. He spent his whole life trying to get the blessing he was already promised. He tricked his brother. He fled his home. He worked 14 years for a woman he loved. He wrestled with an angel through an entire night, refusing to let go until he got what he wanted. And at the end of it, he walked with a limp. A permanent, physical reminder that the blessing was never something he could earn. It was always something he had to receive. And he received it exactly where he was most broken. You have your own limp. And you have tried to hide it, fix it, explain it away. You have tried to stand up straight and pretend the injury is not there. But that limp is the very place where my grace enters. That limp is the very place where your strength becomes my strength. That limp is the very thing that makes you stop running so you can finally start walking with me. The spiritual reframe. Your mother kept her secret because she did not know the end of the story. She only knew the beginning. She knew the fear. She knew the uncertainty. She knew the long nights of wondering if she was doing it right. But she did not know that every sleepless night was a prayer I was collecting. She did not know that every time she chose to stay, every time she chose to love you even when she was tired, she was building a foundation that you would one day stand on. And you, my child, have been living on that foundation your whole life and you did not even know it. You think the closed doors are rejections. They are positioning. You think the wait is wasted time. It is preparation. You think the closed mouths of those who could have helped you are a conspiracy against you. It is protection. I have been clearing the ground around you. I have been removing the things that looked like shortcuts so you would not take them. I have been closing doors because the room on the other side was not ready for you yet. There was a man named Joseph. He was 17 years old when he had a dream. He told his family about it. And it cost him everything. His brothers sold him into slavery. He was falsely accused and thrown into prison. He spent 13 years in that dark place. He was forgotten by everyone he helped. And every single step of that journey looked like a failure. It looked like God had abandoned him. It looked like the dream was a cruel joke. But Joseph did not know that the prison was a training ground. He did not know that the years of obscurity were years of refinement. He did not know that every closed door was leading him to the exact right room at the exact right time. He did not know that the Pharaoh he would one day serve was having dreams of his own, dreams that only Joseph would be able to interpret. He did not know that the famine that would destroy Egypt was coming, and that God had hidden him in plain sight to preserve an entire nation. Joseph did not know. But I knew. And I know what is coming for you. The door that has not opened yet is guarding a room that is not built yet. The person who has not called you back is clearing space for the relationship I am preparing. The check that has not come yet is traveling on a path that I have already blessed. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are exactly on time. The second event. Let me tell you about something that happened 3 days ago. You were standing in line at the grocery store. You were tired. You had your cart full of the usual things, milk, bread, the items on your list. And the woman in front of you was struggling. She could not find her wallet. She was embarrassed. She was holding up the line. And you, without even thinking, without making it a big deal, you reached into your pocket and paid for her groceries. You said, "It's okay. I've been there." She started to cry. She told you she had just lost her job. She told you she did not know how she was going to feed her kids. And you stood there, in the fluorescent light of that store, and you were my hands. You were my voice. You were my provision for her. And in that moment, you received a blessing you did not recognize. You walked out of that store feeling lighter. You thought it was just the satisfaction of helping someone. But it was more than that. It was me, restoring your own soul through your own act of love. It was me, answering a prayer you had prayed months ago, the prayer where you begged me to let you see your purpose again. And I showed you your purpose in the checkout line. I showed you that your purpose is not a distant destination. It is the person standing in front of you. That was the beginning of the shift. You did not see the angel. You did not hear the trumpet. But a spiritual transaction took place in that grocery store that changed the atmosphere over your life. The enemy had been telling you that your life was irrelevant, that your prayers were bouncing off the ceiling, that you had nothing left to give. And in that simple, ordinary, forgettable moment, you proved him wrong. And I want you to know that the same thing is happening right now. In the very moment you are listening to my voice, something is being unlocked in the spirit. A seal is being broken. A door that has been rusted shut is starting to creak open. The peak declaration. Do you remember the thread I pulled at the beginning of this conversation? The muffled cry of your mother behind a closed door? I want you to see that door again. But this time, you are not on the outside listening. You are on the inside, with me. I am showing you the scroll of your life. It is not a mystery to me. I see every page. I see the chapters that have been written and the chapters that are waiting. And on the page that was written before your mother ever held you, before the foundation of the earth, your name is there. Not as an afterthought. Not as a plan B. Not as a mistake that I had to fix. Your name is there, engraved, chosen, wanted. Here is the truth that your mother never told you, because she did not know it herself. You were never a secret I kept. You were a promise I kept. She thought she was protecting you from the truth. But the truth was, she was protecting you for the truth. She was guarding the very promise that you are about to step into. She was the ark that carried the covenant for a season. And now, that season is ending. The ark is opening. The promise is being released. You are the answer to a prayer your mother prayed before you could speak. You are the fulfillment of a prophecy she never heard. You are the resolution of a fear she never confessed. And I am not asking you to believe this because you feel it. I am asking you to believe this because I am saying it. And I do not lie. The end of the secret, so here we are. The truth is out. The silence of that night has been broken. The weight you have been carrying, the shame of not belonging, the exhaustion of pretending, the confusion of the long wait, it has all been lifted. Not because you finally understood it, but because I finally told you. And now, my child, I want you to lift your head. Not because your circumstances have changed, but because your identity has been reclaimed. You are not the forgotten child of a tired mother. You are the chosen vessel of the Most High God. You are not a mistake that slipped through the cracks. You are a deliberate, carefully designed, fiercely loved resolution to a prayer that was prayed before you took your first breath. You do not have to search anymore. You do not have to wonder anymore. You do not have to look for your worth in the eyes of people who will never fully see you. Your worth was settled on a cross 2,000 years ago. And your purpose was sealed in a tomb that could not hold me. Let us pray. Father, thank you for the child who is listening. Thank you for the night their mother prayed, even when her voice shook. Thank you for the years of waiting, even when they felt like years of waste. Thank you for every closed door, every long silence, every tear that fell in secret. They were not lost. They were stored. And now, they are being redeemed. I ask for a fresh covering of wisdom over this child. Let them see the doors I am opening and have the courage to walk through them. Let them hear my voice clearly, above the noise of the world, above the fear of the future, above the doubts of the past. I ask for a shield of protection around their mind. Guard them from the lies of the enemy that would try to steal this truth from them. When they wake up tomorrow, may the words of this night be louder than the voices of doubt. May the peace I have given them remain, even when the morning brings its usual chaos. I ask for healing. Heal the wound that was made by the wrong paths they walked. Heal the places in their heart that were hardened by disappointment. Heal the relationships that have been strained by the waiting. Restore what the locusts have eaten. Bring back the years that felt stolen. I ask for provision. Open the windows of heaven over their finances. Open doors of opportunity that no one can shut. Bring the right people, the right resources, the right words at the right time. Let them experience abundance, not for the sake of wealth, but for the sake of generosity. Let them be a channel of blessing to the very people who have been on their heart. I ask for strength. Strength to get up one more time. Strength to believe when the evidence has not yet arrived. Strength to forgive themselves for the years they spent searching in the wrong places. Strength to rest in the finished work of the cross. And I ask for faith. Not a faith that is loud and showy, but a faith that is quiet and unshakable. A faith that trusts me even in the dark. A faith that knows the secret has been told, the truth has been released, and the story is already written. Father, I seal this child in the name of Jesus Christ. I seal their home. I seal their family. I seal their future. The days of wandering are over. The days of wondering are over. The days of waiting are over. You are entering a season of arrival. But not just an arrival at a destination. An arrival at yourself. The self I always knew you would become. The self your mother prayed for on the night she thought she was failing. The self that was written on the scroll before the foundation of the world. Rise up, my child. The weight is gone. The secret is spoken. The truth has set you free. And I am with you. Always. Until the very end of the age. Let it be so.